Hey now, what is this? Bunch of old pallets, eh? Out here at the hunting shack, you know what we're going to do with these? We are going to make a playhouse for the kids. So I kind of lucked out finding this pallet here, which is sort of like a double wide pallet. It's 8 feet long here, and it has some kind of like a particle board with a veneer on it. And I was originally thinking of ripping it off because it is right on top of the actual normal pallet slats. But then I thought, you know what? This will be far less likely for the little ones because they're like 3 and 5 years old, right? So far less likely for them to accidentally get their little shoes or rubber boots or sandals or whatever kind of caught in that and trip. So I'm going to leave it on. I realize that like at the back here, especially where it's kind of buggered up there, it might have a bit of a tendency to try to rot eventually, but I think that will be long after. It won't become an issue until long after these kids are done with it. So no big deal. First step here now is actually going to be attaching the side. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just like lift this one end up and kind of set the one pallet that's going to be one of the sides on it, get that screwed into place, and then start to get the backs and stuff on here. Now, since I'm doing this all by myself, I'm just going to, you won't be able to see me doing it, but you'll see it in between each step. So I think that'll be step number 1. Okay, I lied. So actually step 1 was relocating it from kind of over there to over here. It's just kind of in the trees, which will make a cute little mini forest for the kids when they're playing in this. All right, so step 1, I just laid this thing down on its side and attached one of the back walls here, and then to that I've attached just a 4-foot length of 2x4, and that's going to help brace where the other, basically the corner where the other pallet's going to come on for the sidewall. Okay, so I've got the 2 back walls on. I've also got some alleged helpers, but anyway, and I've also got that 2x4, 4-foot 2x4 on this side here. So now it's time to actually get the sidewalls on, and they're going to be braced right up against this so that the start of the wall is going to be right here coming this way, and that's just allowing basically giving them the full maximum possible inner room here. So we'll get those 2 walls on and go from there. Okay, so the 2 side walls are now on, and the next move is I'm going to take these 2x4s and I'm going to put them right in here running along, and I'm going to screw in through this wood here, that direction, to hold them in place, and then the front wall can kind of sit down, and again it's going to butt right up, starting edge here, moving there, very similarly to what I did down here. Again, just trying to maximize the interior room. So I'm going to get this bottom one, or this wall on and screwed in from the from underneath as well, and then I need to figure out how I'm making this door. I think I'm just going to take one of the pallets and just kind of cut it so it's half the width, and then that'll give them I guess probably about a 20-inch door or so. So the next step now is to put one more pallet up here running along here, and that's going to be the right side of the front wall. It's going to get secured to this 2x4, and then also from below for now. Now for the side with the door, what I'm going to do with this pallet is I'm just going to use a skill saw, run right along the right hand side of that middle bit there, and then I'm going to leave the top here. So I'm going to cut up, and then I'm going to cut this one off here, and then I'll also be able to attach this to the other front part there. That's the plan. All right, so I've got it upright now, and it's just time to, I just threw a couple of temporary screws in there to partially bolster it up, but I'm going to get a whole bunch more screws in there, and I think I'm going to run some 2x4s just across the top on the front and the back here. I also got a little overzealous and wound up accidentally cutting through this board here. So I've just got it sitting up here. I'm going to wind up screwing it back on, and then that 2x4 will actually hold all that on there too and make everything a lot stronger. Okay, so I got that 2x4 up there, this one here, and then I'm also running one up along the top just because it doesn't have the supports all the way vertically there. So once this is on there, this is all really quite solid, other than maybe needing a little bit of a stabilization underneath just to prevent it from rocking. So I wound up getting a 2x4 underneath that side there. That was enough to really kind of level it out. I also dug out just a little bit of the ground that was kind of a hump here and attached this other mini pallet there with the plywood on it to the existing structure just with some screws, and it's on there pretty good, so no problem there. Next thing to deal with here is the roof, and I want it to be a peaked roof. It's going to come up like that. It'll be 2 pallets wide, and I've got some extra pallets kicking around here, so I'm just going to kind of figure out which 4 I want to use for that. And then the idea is to kind of overlap the planks here so that they are very, very similar to what you'd see with shingles or shakes, just so that water will run off of them. So I'm going to see if I've got enough to make that work properly. Change of plan. Once I started to remove these boards, I remembered how difficult it is to remove them. So I'm actually going to run them this direction here. So this is actually going to work out way better just for fitting over top of the roof, because these are 4 feet running this direction, and that'll give me 96 inches. The actual structure, including those plywood wall sides, it's 92 inches. So this will give me theoretically a 2-inch overhang anyway. And running vertically like this, I mean, I guess, you know, the water can just kind of run down. There might be a little bit that gets in, but it's not going to be the end of the world. So some of these here, as you can tell, I just need to take the skill saw and just kind of trim them off, and then get them oriented the way that I want them and attached together, and then it'll be ready to fire up on the roof. Okay, roof is up and somewhat supported. I'm actually just in the process of beefing it up. This was quite the process getting it up here. We wound up using some 2x6s and wedging them up right around to about here to kind of support the one side. There were like 4 people involved in doing this. So that supported the one side, and then we had it held up. Got the other side up here using the same thing, some 2x6s there to support that, just so that it couldn't slide down either way. Kind of lined it up, and then the 4th person was there. That was me, and I drilled that 8-foot 2x4 in there. And now we're in the process of beefing this up with some of these 2x4s that are kind of braced in here and then screwed all the way along. So we're gonna have several of those. And that should do the trick for keeping that supported. Yeah. All right, so for the ends of these little roof pieces here, I just took another pallet, kind of just cut it in half. Well, roughly, it was about 20, I think 19 3/4 inches here, and then lined it up, eyeballed it, and it was a few different cuts here and there, but it's pretty much lined up. Got one here, I still got it trimmed just a little bit, and then I think I'm going to try to fit a 2x4 in between. So the kids were asking about little shelves, so I just threw some 2x4s just in between those support pieces in a couple of these exterior pallets. I'm going to throw another one here in that space. Then I figured in the bottom here, those can actually act as like little cubbies for them too, so everything can get rained on. Okay, and I guess we needed an extra window here on this one side, so I just measured it out so I could make sure to avoid any of the little support pieces there in this pallet, and just plunged in with the skill saw there, and went back and forth and smashed it out. Now it's time to frame that in. Okay, so you can see I got that window all nicely framed in. That kind of just makes it look a lot nicer from the outside. Got everything really nicely supported. I also wound up throwing on just a couple of little railings, which was just as easy as cutting some 2x4s and securing them to the bottom of that pallet, and then also through from the inside into that railing, just to keep them nice and sturdy here. So yeah, I think it's all done. Pretty happy with it. Little front porch. You can come inside. My wife got these logs and made that little mini table there for the girls. Everything's really nicely supported. It's extremely sturdy. And yeah, the kids have already been out here and they've been playing around. So anyway, if you like it, subscribe. More videos coming down the pipe. And until next time, keep her at 11. Okay, there we are with the window framed in. Gives it a much nicer appearance from the outside. You can see there are some logs here that the kids put around. They want to do like a little kind of flower garden around there. I also wound up putting on a railing on either side, which was as easy as just securing into the bottom part of that pallet, and then also from the inside through into that 2x4 there. Yeah, so as you can see, everything's all kind of done here. My wife got a couple of stumps here for stools, and then just a little easy table there for the kids to use. But everything is super secure. This thing is rock solid, not going anywhere. So yeah, this is a fun little project. Took a couple of afternoons. Not too shabby considering it was just some free pallets, some scrap 2x4s that we had kicking around here. I did have to buy a bunch of screws. I went through a ton of 3-inch. I wound up going with some 2.5-inch and then some 1.5-inch construction screws, and then some pressure treated wood screws, just because I figured they would weather a little bit better. But anyway, for a little mini shack out here at the hunting shack, this was a pretty sweet, fun little project. Kids have been having an absolute blast out here already today. So yeah, if you like it, subscribe, get notified when more videos keep coming down the pipe, and until next time, keep her at 11.